Did you know Paper Mario was originally unveiled as Super Mario RPG 2 at Nintendo Space World 97? Super Mario RPG 2 was developed by Intelligent Systems, but Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars was developed by Square for the Super Nintendo. It's thought that complications with Square led to Super Mario RPG 2 being renamed. Since Square developed the game, it's likely that Square had some ownership of any new names, assets, designs, and ideas featured in the original Mario RPG. That said, Nintendo might not have planned to call the game Super Mario RPG 2 outside of Japan anyway. Reports from English-speaking publications in 1998 specifically referred to the game as Super Mario Adventure. The game was renamed internationally to Paper Mario, and was renamed as Mario Story in Japan. The name Mario Story might have been chosen to align the game more with Yoshi's Story, which had a similar art direction. Super Mario RPG 2 might not have been the game's original title either. The initial idea for Paper Mario's art style came from an image made by artist Naohiko Aoyama, which was labeled Mario RPG 64. Nintendo wanted to come up with something that looked and felt completely different from the main Mario series. Developer Intelligent Systems was struggling to create a game that would match the quality of the Nintendo 64's flagship Mario game, Super Mario 64. HAL Laboratory, a studio that's also very closely affiliated with Nintendo, had the same issue, but it was able to come up with the very first Super Smash Bros. Game. Intelligent Systems project manager Kenji Nakajima said in an Iwata Asks interview that coming up with Paper Mario was indeed a challenge. After it was decided that Intelligent Systems would make a second Super Mario RPG, we ran into trouble deciding how it should look in order to bring out a different theme than in the main series. We couldn't determine the route to take with visuals. At first, we broke into teams and worked in parallel on making about 3 sample models. While the teams were busy working, Aoyama had plenty of free time on his hands. He came up with a concept image that was made up of 3D polygons, but had paper-thin 2D characters and backgrounds, giving it the atmosphere of a picture book. Aoyama said during the same Iwata Asks interview, "While the design remained undecided, I naturally spent a lot of time waiting. Then, during that free time, casually for my own interest, and totally apart from the course the team was taking, I made a rough image. I hope it would somehow serve as a kickoff point and submitted it. Then, they called me to a planning meeting saying, 'Bring back that picture,' and this is what I presented." Aoyama figured that because there was a trend of realistic 3D graphics in home consoles during the mid to late 90s, it would be interesting to use 3D to emphasize a 2D appearance. And so, Intelligent Systems and Nintendo ended up basing the entire game and series on something a new designer made for fun. Paper Mario was slated for release on the Nintendo 64 disk drive, but the disk drive ended up being a huge commercial failure. There were only 9 games released for it, and any games planned for the disk drive were released as cartridges or canceled entirely. Paper Mario ultimately released as a regular N64 title, and was the top-selling game in Japan on the first week of release, selling more than 276,000 copies. The game was also the last Mario game published for the Nintendo 64 in Australia, while in the rest of the world the last Nintendo 64 Mario game was Mario Party 3. When Paper Mario was first unveiled to the public back in 1997, critics heavily compared its 2D-inspired art direction to the original PlayStation's Parappa the Rapper. Shigeru Miyamoto was a consultant on the project, and at the time stated that the title was being developed with amateur gamers in mind. Miyamoto said, "I think Super Mario RPG 2 will be the game that's friendly for game beginners and amateur players to start out with. As you can see in Yoshi's Story, the idea of the 3-dimensional picture book will appear in Mario RPG." The game also has many Easter eggs and references. In the game, Luigi keeps a diary in a secret basement under Mario's house. The player can go down there and read some of the diary's entries. It heavily references the first Luigi's Mansion game for the GameCube, which was being developed at the time. Luigi mentions in the diary that he's afraid of ghosts and wants to be the main lead in his own game. His diary also references Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, and Mario Party, saying, "I remember the carefree days when we played golf and tennis and had parties." Paper Mario may also hint at religion, as Mario meets a character named Mustafa, whose alter ego is Sheik. This name is possibly derived from the word Sikh, which means a follower of Sikhism, one of the most popular monotheistic religions in the world. It was founded during the 15th century in South Asia by a guru named NANAK. Mustafa's name isn't the only reference here, as the character himself very much acts and looks like a guru, a guiding hand for everyone living in the dry desert. Mustafa's alter ego may also be a reference to Sheik from the Legend of Zelda series. Both characters are guardians who take on alter egos, and one of Goombario's tattles states, "Da-da-da-dum, Sheik reveals his true self, da-da-da-dum." Could be a transcription of the famous Zelda jingle, which plays whenever the player finds something valuable. The flower-loving toad, known as Min-T, is named Lip in the Japanese game. Lip is also the name of the Panel D Pawn protagonist, who is the fairy of flowers. Both characters share a love of flowers and the same yellow, green, and pink color scheme. Twink's Japanese name is Tinku, or Tink. This is possibly a reference to the Peter Pan character Tinkerbell, who is often referred to as Tink. What makes this reference more plausible is that Mario's creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, is a known fan of Disney's Peter Pan. The name of the famous murder mystery author in Shiver City, Hemingway, is a pun on hearing fishes and Ernest Hemingway. Hemingway is best known for his mystery novels, similar to Paper Mario's Hemingway. Paper Mario also has some interesting unused features. There was once an Anger's Power badge in earlier builds of the game. It would cause Mario to turn a dark reddish color and pose angrily. The badge would make Mario uncontrollable, and he would blindly attack in battles, though the player could still control Mario's partner. Mario's attack would increase, but his AI neglects common sense, such as jumping on top of spike enemies. The unused badge graphic and Mario's animations can still be found in the game's data. Don't forget to subscribe to Digino Gaming for more facts and trivia. If you liked this video, give it a like. And if you're a fan of Mario, click the annotation on screen to watch the Digino Gaming video on Mario glitches. And hey, I'm Yungtown. It would mean the absolute world to me if you guys checked out my Legend of Zelda rap titled Triforce Rap. Here's a little preview.
Wisdom brought out by the vision, depicted by mysticism, prolific scriptures encrypted in the richest form, spirit